Hi guys, it's me SP Studs, and welcome back to LEGO Set Saturdays. This is the series where I build and review a LEGO set and then give my personal opinion on the set in an out of 10 rating system. Today, I'm reviewing LEGO Set 75299, which is the LEGO Star Wars set Trouble on Tatooine. It has 276 pieces, 3 minifigures, is recommended for ages 7 and up, and costs $44.99 in Australia. But before we get into today's mock showcase, my channel is nearing 200 subscribers, so if you want to see more LEGO content like set reviews, mock showcases, and more, then go down below and destroy that like and subscribe button, and ring the bell for notifications, as it helps me to keep creating content. And while you're down there in the description, liking the video, hop over to my Instagram. I post tutorials from my mock videos and sneak peeks for thumbnails and videos, so if you want to check it out, the link to my Instagram is in the description below. But with all of that out of the way, let's build this. So, here's the final product. In my personal opinion, this is a really good set for anyone who is a fan of the Mandalorian TV show, especially Season 2. The build allows for a lot of recreation and reenactment of the first episode of The Mandalorian Season 2, and that's actually one of my favorite episodes of that season, so I actually really like this set. The set includes some pretty awesome builds and fantastic minifigures, and since the minifigures are probably the reason you'll buy this set, let's have a look at them. So, starting off the show, we have Mando. I think this minifigure is a huge step up from the last time we saw him in LEGO. I love that LEGO decided to upgrade to the Beskar armor, which I actually would have been really mad about if they didn't give Mando his Beskar armor, because they only did his regular armor in the last couple of Mandalorian sets. But otherwise, this minifigure looks absolutely incredible. I love all the details on the legs. I really like the shoulder pads and how they really glitter with that silver paint. And I also really love all the detail on the torso with all the straps and ammo slots and stuff like that, especially around his belt. And just again, the paint really shines here on his chest. Then, if we have a look at the arms, this minifigure does indeed have arm printing, and we can see his shoulder pauldrons, and on the right shoulder pauldron we can see his signet. And then on both arms you can also see some VAM braces, which, in case you don't know what those are like the little bracelets that Mandalorians have, and those shoot whistling birds, which are like darts, flamethrowers, repulsors, and a grappling cable. So I'm really happy that LEGO actually did that, because Mando uses those bracelets a lot, and I love that LEGO went that extra mile to do that. I love that, because we don't really get arm printing that much in LEGO. Then, if we have a look at the back, we have his cape that was introduced in the last couple of Mandalorian sets, and it's not like the superhero cape, it's like a thinner version. And if we flip up the cape, we can see the back of his torso, which again is really good. Not as much detail or as flare as the front of the torso, but since the cape is covering it, it probably won't be that much of a big deal. But I like the straps and the silver paint and the ammo cartridges. Then, if we have a look at his helmet, it is a little bit bland, like there's not too much stuff going on, but honestly that's kind of okay, because the Mandalorian's helmet is just silver with the regular Mandalorian features, so I think that's actually kind of just okay. It still looks pretty great, and I think that this helmet is a lot lighter than the last helmet that we got for the Mandalorian, because I think the last helmet that we got was a more toned down, a more dirty silver, but this is a really, really shiny silver, and I'm really happy they did that, because I feel like it recaptures the shine of Beskar armor a little bit more. The only problem I really have about the helmet is that underneath it, you have no face. Now, I think that this was in the last Mandalorian sets. I think that's because he didn't, or the whole mystery kind of Season 1 was what's under that helmet. Because, if you don't know, in the Mandalorian Creed, you're not allowed to remove your helmet. So I could get that black head, but in Season 1, we actually do see his face. I won't provide an image, just because that's spoilers, but we have seen his face, so I feel like he should get a face print. I think that maybe it's okay because Season 1 only came out in 2019, and maybe some people haven't seen it, but I think that when they do Mandalorian Season 3 sets, LEGO should definitely put in time to get him a face print, because I think that is an acceptable time to show his face print, because everyone who doesn't want spoilers should have seen it. But, should have seen the TV show anyway. But, apart from that, he also does have some accessories. So he has his blaster pistol, and he also has a rifle, which is called a long arm rifle, and this basically, if you load in a cartridge, disintegrates people, basically, which I think is pretty cool, and I think that is captured quite well. I like that they use multiple pieces instead of making a new mold, because I feel like that makes it a little bit more special. Anyway, let's move on to the Tusken Raider. Again, just like all the other Tusken Raiders before, they look pretty cool. I love the robes on the legs and on the torso. I also love the pouches that are strung across his belt and his torso. I really like those. And that straps continues onto the back, and again, the cloak and robes printing is also really good. Again, the head mold is just absolutely fantastic, completely perfect. I don't think for a while LEGO needs to do anything with this, it's just really, really good. And then he comes with an accessory, which is called a Guffy Club, which basically, if you don't know, it's a big club with a spike on the end, and you could swing it at people and completely bludgeon them. But then probably one of the biggest draws for this set, apart from the Beskar Mando, we have Baby Yoda. Now, the reason this is a big draw for people is because the only other way you can get Baby Yoda is if you buy the $200 Razor Crest, and that I think is a bit expensive. So basically they put Baby Yoda in this, and I'm really happy that they did, because otherwise you can only get him through at by forking out $200 or buying him secondhand. So I think that's a really good thing that they put him in this set. He's not too detailed. I do like the printing on the front, but the head mold is really, really good. But apart from that, it's pretty basic. So yeah, guys, that's all the minifigures. Let's go on to the builds. So, in this set, it has 3 main builds: the Mandalorian Speeder, the Tusken Raider Crossbow, and the Tusken Raider Hut. Let's go and have a look at the Mandalorian Speeder. I think this is a pretty cool speeder design. Really like how it's sort of just thinned out, and it's not too bulky. It's a little bit more bulky than it should be, but otherwise it's pretty cool. So starting from front to back, I love how LEGO incorporated these pieces to make these struts. I think that's pretty cool, and I love how it gives that shape by using this hinge piece. I love that. Here, I think that these are supposed to be for blaster bolts, so if the speeder wants to fire a blaster, then it can do that. Then up here, we actually have the handles for the speeder, so you can just get the Mandalorian, slot him in, and then get him to hold the handles, and yep, and then he can sit down, and then you have the speeder. So he can just go and pilot the speeder and go and stuff like that. Then we have these hooks or clips where you can put the Mandalorian's rifle and the Mandalorian's small blaster pistol. So if he ever needs to grab it out in a fight, then he can, which I think is pretty cool. I like that they made actual clips for this. Then we have some nice greebling on both sides to show like the engine and stuff like that, which I think is pretty cool. And then on the back we have a backpack, which is where he puts Boba Fett's armor. And then we have also this little pouch where you can fit the adorable, the amazing Baby Yoda in, and I really love that you can do that. I didn't think they'd actually put Baby Yoda in. I think they thought they'd have like a basket here, but I like that he's actually hanging on the side like he is in the actual episode. But let's move on to the Sand Person Crossbow. I think this is actually a pretty nice build. I love its use of these pieces with round ends. So there's lots of details in like the angles of where everything is and stuff like that. I really love that. So basically, in the episode of The Mandalorian this is based off of, the Sand People and the Mandalorian try to kill this space worm, or the sandworm, that's terrorizing all the towns on Tatooine. So they use these crossbows to try and defeat them. So basically, what you can do is you can get your sand person, which comes in the set, as you saw before. You can get him to clip on. Then you can have him hold over. You can crank the shaft to wind up the crossbow bolt. To wind up the crossbow bolt. So wind. Put that down. Then you can grab the actual crossbow bolt. So these come in silver, which is, I think, the first time we actually got them in a non-transparent color, which I think is pretty cool. So you can load them in, and then you can pretend, okay, they're ready to fire. They're ready to fire the crossbow. 3, 2, 1, boom! So yeah, that just comes out pretty easily, just a regular spring load shooter, boom! And as you can see, it's just pretty cool. I do wish that there was kind of like a loading mechanism where it could actually draw back and stuff like that, but that's probably asking for a bit too much. And I actually just really like it. As I said, I love all the angles and the curves and stuff like that. I think the colors are actually pretty accurate. And I love this rolling wheel at the front. I think that's pretty cool. The only thing I would have liked is for them to cover up the spring-loaded shooter a bit more, because I feel like it just sticks out a bit too much. Maybe put a plate on top or something like that. I think that just would have been a bit nice. Anyway, let's go on to the last build in the whole thing, the Sand Person's Hut, or the Tusken Raider Hut. So basically, this is just a small side build, so you can recreate one of the scenes where the Mandalorian and the Sand People and the Mandalorian's assistant for the episode are just camping out in the sands. Basically, there's just this little hut which you can open, and there are 2 seats, so you can sit. Down the Tusken Raider that comes with the set, and then also Mando the Mandalorian. You can sit him down just here, and this I actually kind of like how this sort of tent or hut opens up. I think that's really creative. Was a really creative thing to do. However, my only problem with it is that, as you can see, there are lots of gaps in it. I would have liked the Lego to do that. I probably would have liked for them to just have the roof curl over and then you could put stuff in like that, rather than sacrifice the sort of integrity of the wall so that you can just open it up. I would have just preferred that you could open up the roof and then but the gaps in the walls of the hut would have been closed. But other than that, it still looks really good. I really like how it looks on pretty much all sides, again, apart from those gaps, where those gaps could be fixed. As you can see, there's a plate for food here. There's a pot with a bone that keeps falling out, so maybe just don't rough handle this thing a lot, because that might fall off. You have this strut that is holding up the tent, and I would have liked the block to be covered up a bit more that's doing this, but that's kind of okay. And then you have this campfire, which I think is actually put together fairly well. I like how it looks. And then you just have this small clip which you can put the Tusken Raider stuff, or really any of the other accessories that comes with this set. So now just some overall thoughts on the whole set. I do really like all the builds. I think all the builds are really good in their own ways. I guess the weakest one, I think, is definitely the Sand Hut. Just not as much going for it as the crossbow and the speeder. My only real problem with this set is that this did include the Marshal and his speeder. Basically, if you don't know, spoilers again for Mandalorian Season 2, the Marshal does wear Boba Fett's armor in the first episode of The Mandalorian, and he does have his own speeder, and he joins Mando in the fight against the Sandworm, or the Cradle Dragon, I think it's actually called. I just searched it up. So yeah, I would have really loved for that to be added instead of just leaving him out. And I guess it doesn't ruin the whole set, but I just would have liked for him to be included. I do really love that LEGO decided to use Mando's Beskar armor in such a cheap set. I'm really glad that they didn't use his other prints from the previous year. But I also really love that Baby Yoda's in this. I was thinking, oh, it's such a cheap set, they won't include Baby Yoda, but they did. So I'm very happy for that. I love that LEGO recolored the spring-loaded shooter. I think that's pretty cool, and I love the very generous use of some rarer pieces in that. I love that the sand person is included. I think that was a very good choice. I just maybe would have liked one of the villagers from Mos Pelgro, which they also joined the fight against the Cradle Dragon. Would have liked that. But otherwise, pretty good set. Really good if you want to get a Mando and a Baby Yoda for quite cheap. It is a little bit overpriced if you don't like The Mandalorian, but if you like The Mandalorian, really highly recommend this set. But other than that, that's all I've really got to say about this set. So, thank you guys for watching. Comment down below what your favourite part of this build is. Also, like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, because if you like and subscribe, that really helps me out, allows me to keep creating really awesome content. Also, if you want to check out sneak peeks of thumbnails and videos, as well as tutorials for LEGO techniques and stuff like that, you can check out my Instagram in the description below. Basically, I do all those things and a little bit more. And you can't find any of that on my YouTube channel. All that stuff is exclusive to my Instagram. So if you want to check that out, my Instagram is in the description below. So make sure you go and follow me there. But anyway, guys, see you in the next video. Sterling